Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about how I kind of pivoted my finances now that I'm married. And quick disclaimer, I don't think much has really changed since we got married, since we were fiance, since we were boyfriend, girlfriend. So I think in terms of paying for things, it's always been kind of split 50-50, I would say, for the most part. We're both pharmacists. I make a bit more than her because I'm in management. So I do pay for vacations typically, but we never really track things. Like if I paid more than her or she paid more than me, we never really tracked our finances. I don't say, hey, you owe me $237. No, I don't really care, big picture. But since we've become fiance, and I think when we bought this house that we're living in together, we actually create our own joint account, and every month we would basically just contribute to this account, fix the same amount each of us, right? And for me, it's always been pretty balanced, and it works because right now we both work. Right now I work at W2, she works at W2, we're both full time, but eventually when we have kids. And maybe when we have kid one, she might be part-time. And if we have kid two, she might just be, full-time, stay-at-home mom potentially. So obviously at that point, when we have kid one, then I'll probably be paying the majority of the bill of the mortgage, right? Or I might just sell a house that I own, that I got before we were married, and then sell that and use that to pay off this house so that we don't have to worry about the expense anymore, right? But I want to delay doing that as much as possible because I still believe it's going to appreciate. There's principal pay down every year. It's been the same tenant. It's super passive. So the longer I can hold it, the better it is for me. But like I said, when I'm ready to, aim towards retirement or stepping down to part-time in our jobs, then, this is a property that I'm probably going to have to sell so that we can, gravitate more towards lifestyle. So, and I've always said that, for me, I think it's very key to be aligned in terms of finances with your partner. And the reason for that is I think I forgot the stat, but 67% of divorces are because of financial stress, right? When you're stressed financially, and I've been there, right? I was there at my mobile home park where I was stressed financially because I was losing $10,000 a month, and it was stressing me out. It was even stressing my girlfriend out. We weren't even married at the time, but imagine now if I'm stressed financially, I'm not my best version of myself, and then my significant other, my wife, will feed off of that negative energy, right? And then it affects them too. And then your kids will feel that as well. That's why a lot of kids grew up with a bad view or bad outlook in terms of finances. I don't want my future kids to have that either, right? I want money to be seen as very abundant, not scarce. And I want to know that okay, even if you lose money, there's ways to regain money, right? Like I said, money comes and money goes. Your money will flow, right? That's always how it was. Always how I view things, right? I've lost money from real estate. I made money from real estate. I made more money from real estate than I lost. So overall, I'm doing good in terms of real estate, right? So kind of side tangent there, but really the finances hasn't really changed right now. It's because we're both working. But I think the moment that she steps down to part-time, when we have kids, then I think it's probably gonna shift mostly over to me paying the bills, right? If we have a mortgage, it's probably gonna be me covering the mortgage, because I'm still working W2, and I kind of view the money as ours together, right? I know people have told me okay, you're worth a lot, get a prenup, get all that, and for me, decide not to do one, right? Could bite me in the ass in years, right? If there's a divorce. But on the flip side, if the marriage works, and I believe 1 + 1 equals 10, right? So by being with my wife, she should elevate me to build even more wealth than I did before when I was a single guy, right? So I was able to build a multi-million-dollar net worth single, and then once I started dating her, I was able to increase my net worth even further. And then now that I'm married to her, I'm hoping that the net worth grows even bigger, right? Than what I did by myself, right? So I want to surpass what I've done because I think 1 + 1 = 10, not 2, right? Or it shouldn't hinder me either. So, for me, um, in a weird way, by having a stable home life, by having a stable relationship, it allowed me to focus more on like real estate, right? Like by having like all my time, all my energy was spent chasing girls. And now that I had a girlfriend, fiance, wife, I could focus my energy on like building wealth through real estate or index funds or my YouTube business, my coaching business, right? I could focus on like building wealth. That was kind of the key thing, right? So all my energy from chasing girls all my energy went to learning and trying to build wealth, right? So like that freed me up a lot. And what was nice too is like my wife Christine, she balances me out very well. Like she's very calm, very cool, very zen, very like not motivated as much by money as what I am. So it's kind of nice to have that different perspective, right? Like she's more optimized for like peace and like a good life, like living long, being healthy, and I was optimized for like hustling, grinding, leveraging, building wealth, right? And that can be unhealthy, right? Like my health was compromised, right? But thanks to my wife, I live a healthier lifestyle. Thanks to my wife, I sleep earlier, I eat cleaner, I exercise more, I have more social relationships. So I'm not just always cooped up by myself, trying to build wealth and listening to podcasts. You need a little bit of social life, right? Um, so I think overall, like she's made me like a better person, more well rounded, and it's gonna translate very well in terms of like, in terms of wealth. So like a lot of people say, a lot of wealthy people I see on YouTube say like, who you marry is the biggest decision you ever make because that can make or break your finances, right? So for me, I want to make sure that we were aligned, and I think we were because, um, for us, we live very frugally. Like we are not as big on material things. Like we like to buy things, but when we buy things, we make sure it's like on sale, right? So like this new sofa I'm sitting on, we bought from Costco is on sale. Everything that we buy, we try to buy on sale. If there's a clearance sale at Macy's, that's when we buy a lot of our clothes. If there's a clearance sales at like J.C. Penney's or whatever store, like Express, like if there's a sale, we'll buy a lot, right? And then, but we only buy when it's on sale. We'll wait. We're patient, right? Like I don't need new clothes, but if it's a good deal, if it's cheap, it's on clearance, then by all means I'll buy it and I need it, right? So and then we value like experiences more than material goods. So like we value travel a lot more, going to concerts, seeing new things, going hiking, um, exploring new cities, just spending time with friends and family. There's a lot of free things that you can do that like doesn't cost money. Like one of our favorite things that me and Christine do is like after we eat dinner, we always go for a walk around the neighborhood. Like you get some fresh air, you see the sunset. You could like just get some exercise, help you digest. Like it's just overall healthy, right? Like it's a free thing you do. It's one of my things I look forward to do every day, and it's like it's free, right? So like you don't need that. So I think we're very aligned in terms of like how we view money and how we do it, and also too like I think the hardest part was trying to convince Christine about real estate because obviously in her mind it was risky. So, but she was there alongside me the whole journey. She saw me buy my first apartment complex, my first mobile home park, my second apartment complex. She saw me how stressed I was buying with my mobile home park and was losing money. She saw how stressful I was selling my mobile home park. She saw me renovate my apartment complexes. She saw me do cash out refinances. She saw the ups, the downs. If I have a plumbing issue, she kind of witnessed it. So now she understands more of what I'm doing and then more of what my plan is. Like, yes, I want to buy more real estate. I want to buy more single family homes. I want to buy more multifamily homes. I want to probably sell some properties and pay off some debt, right? And we're aligned on that mission. Like for me, um, I do want to eventually sell a single family home, pay off my primary residence when we're ready to work part time, when we're ready to retire, because we want to own the house free and clear and not worry about that, right? And we're also aligned in terms of like, well, like we look at deals together now. Like, I'll analyze a deal and she'll analyze a deal for single family and multifamily. And I always ask for her opinion because she's like my number one mentor or mentee because she's been listening to me about real estate for like, so long. So, for me, it's just really that second set opinion and then like knowing, okay, does it make sense right now? Right? Like, does it make sense for me to take on a huge apartment complex deal If I'm dealing with a newborn kid, maybe not, right? Maybe I can still do it, right? So it's really more like a collaborative joint decision. And like I said, I'm really honed in on my criteria, and she knows my criteria. Like Christine knows my criteria. So like when I'm looking at a deal, I'll say, hey, I'm a little too emotional. I'm too hyped up on this deal. Tell me what's good or bad. What's good and bad. And then she can come in with a more objective opinion about it, right? So it's nice to have that set of opinions and being aligned. And in terms of spending, like I can buy whatever I want and not be guilted about it. Like she can buy whatever she wants and not be guilted about it. But overall, like we don't really buy much in general, right? We're more minimalist in how we approach things. Like I never say, hey, like if you want it, go buy it. Like the sofa, like like we've been saying for the past year, like oh, we want a bigger sofa, we want an L-shaped sofa, and we want something that's comfortable. And we can clearly afford a sofa, but at the same time, we're like, well, our current sofa is like still good. Like, why not keep it? And then eventually, we're like, you know what? We outgrew the sofa. Let's just get a new one. Found one on sale in Costco and bought it. So we're like very aligned in terms of like how we do our finances, right? Like overall, we don't really spend that much. We like spending money on food. We like spending money on experiences, and we like spending money on lifestyle, right? That's really key for us. And like I said, when we're ready to retire and kids are in the picture, like I think she's still grasping over the concept of like me retiring early. Like I think she's okay of being part time, and then maybe I'm part time as well. But like the thought of me just like not working at all, as a pharmacist is like mind blowing to her. But I just said, well, I'm gonna be doing other things, right? I'm gonna be like doing YouTube. I'll be doing coaching. I'll do mentorship. Maybe I become a real estate agent. I don't know, right? Like it doesn't seem appealing right now, but maybe a mindset will change. But I don't know what will happen, right? Like a lot of things can happen, right? Especially when I keep on creating content and I'm consistent. Like maybe I'll blow up. Maybe I'll be a speaker. Maybe I don't know. Infinite possibilities. But I said that I'm gonna still be working just in a different capacity, right? In a capacity that I want on my terms, on a schedule on my own terms, right? So that's what's key. And I think she's on board with that. But I think she just needs to see what it looks like. I think she needs to see that okay, hey, I sold a property. This is paid off, right? And then I just said, hey, whatever, I'll sell a property, pay, throw it at the house, and whatever, if there's any leftover, then maybe she can cover that, right? Um, so that's really like what it is. And I just said, well, if I'm responsible for the mortgage, then well, if I sell a house and pay it off, I don't have to work, right? So like we're very aligned in terms of that aspect. And they always say like behind every great man is a greater woman, and I think that's kind of true as well. So like I said, we're super aligned on money. I think we've always been since like day one. I think in the beginning it was funny. Like one of our first dates, we went to Disneyland, and I didn't pay for it. I just went like 50-50. Like I just bought my ticket and she bought her ticket. And remember that like really like frustrated her. And then I was just like, well, at the time, like we were friends. I was like, well, like, like you should put some money in there too. Like I shouldn't just be paying for it. I already drove from like NorCal to SoCal. But something like we kind of quibble about today. It's funny. But like we always had the same view of money, and like we never kept track of things. Like I'd pay and then she'd pay. I'd pay, she'd pay. I'd pay, she'd pay. Right? Like if it was like always me paying, I would be slightly concerned about that. And then for her, like, like even though like obviously my net worth is a lot higher, but like her net worth is pretty high too. Like for somebody who just invests in stocks, she owns a property herself before like being married to me. So like she's doing well for herself too, right? Like not at my level, but like still compared to like most people doing there. Like she's like close to $1 million net worth, like just on her own, right? And she's been working like 4 years less than me. So like, and she's not as into like leveraging real estate, but like obviously like the moment she married me, she knows that we're gonna buy real estate, right? Like, but maybe not as fast as I was going, but I'm definitely gonna buy real estate. I definitely want to buy some more single family homes in Huntsville, Alabama. I want to buy more apartment complexes in Oklahoma, but I don't need to go as fast as I was going before, right? I'm not as desperate as I was going before, but if there's a good deal and the numbers make sense, by all means, I'll buy a deal. So, so like I said, right now, we have a joint account, and if we go on vacation, typically we'll pay from that. Our mortgage comes from that. When we have kids, we'll probably just still contribute to that. So we'll each have our own separate accounts for like guilt-free spending. And then I have my account, which is a savings for like my emergency fund for real estate. And then she has her own account for her emergency fund. And then we have a joint account, which we fund for like, common expenses. Eventually we'll probably get a joint credit card that we can spend with. But right now, like, it's mostly usually when we go out, which is not often, like I'll usually cover it. Like, if we go out to eat or do some activity, I'll pay for it. But if it's like a concert or like an event, usually Christine pays for it. So like, I mean, we don't keep track, but like for the most part, it's pretty balanced for the most part. And one can argue I make more than her, so I should contribute more, which I do. But like, yeah, it's a pretty healthy relationship, I would say, with like money. Um, we are on the more frugal side, and like I said, if we buy real estate, I asked her, I'm like, hey, if I buy this deal, like, do you want to contribute some down payment? Like, I don't mind going 50-50 with you, or whatever you want to contribute to it, right? Because now when we buy real estate, we both own it, right? Essentially, we both own the real estate. That's kind of only different dynamic is that I'll just ask her. I'm not, obviously, if I can afford it myself, or I want to do low money down deals so that we don't have to put much money, right? So that's kind of it. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted as how we may pivot our finances. But right now, it's we just have a joint account, and for the most part, things are like pretty even because we both work. But as we start to have kids and she goes to part time, more of it's gonna fall on me, and then eventually I'm probably gonna sell one of my homes to then pay off this house, and then if there's any leftover, she'll just cover the rest, and we'll own this house free and clear. So we'll be less stressed as we plan for retirement, and then eventually, maybe I'll work part time, or maybe I'll just retire as a pharmacist, depending on my situation and depending on what I want to do. But just wanted to give some updates as to like how our finances changes as we went from fiance up to like husband wife. Not much has changed, and but we'll see how it pivots as we go along. And we don't really fight about money. Money's never been a topic of like stress. The stressor was like she thought I was just too risky buying a lot of real estate. But obviously now I'm not going to be as aggressive with real estate as I was in the past, and I'm only going to buy good deals because I'm more experienced now. Like I'm not going to buy a mobile home park anymore. I'm not going to buy self storage. I'm only going to buy apartment in Oklahoma or single family homes in Huntsville, Alabama, and obviously I'd get her input on that deal, right? So that's kind of how the dynamic is today, and I think it's a pretty healthy collaborative relationship, and we have a very healthy outlook on money. Like I'm trying not to be as controlled of money, but like for me, it's giving me lifestyle and choices. That's really what it is. So, anyways, hopefully this gives you some insight as to like how me and Christine manage our finances as husband and wife, right now. Um, um, and let me know what questions you have. If you want to learn to buy your first multifamily deal, um, check out my link tree down below. I have a link to my courses, my coaching, my mentorship program. Let me know if you have any questions. From my link tree, you can send me an email if you want a discount code, you have questions about the mentorship. Otherwise, I have a free newsletter as well on my link tree. So please click on that and subscribe. Let me know what questions you have. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you.